Peering down from his high horse, the Duke said, "What the F are you doing now?" It's not the first time Andy has been less than diplomatic with his language. He was reported to the police in 20...
A man renowned for his pomposity and arrogance, the indignity of being treated like a common or garden suspect, drinking a cup of tea probably out of a polystyrene cup, having his shoelaces removed by the custody officer. That will hit him quite hard, I think.
It's his birthday.
It's also his birthday.
If you're a royal and you're on palace grounds, you can't be arrested. I'm pretty sure that's the law in the UK. So by the books, Andrew could literally fucking murder 20 fucking girls and then just hop over the fence and they can't arrest him here. You guys want to know what's been going on in the UK? Well, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, the nonce alleged, formerly known as Prince, Andrew was arrested today. He was arrested on his 66th birthday, no less. So that's been breaking news as of a couple of hours ago. And the news channels are just cycling through it constantly now. That's probably all we're going to hear about for the rest of the day in British news. Unless America bombs Iran, which might happen today. Actually, it turns out it's a lot more likely than I initially thought it was. Let's have a look, eh? BBC News, big day for these guys.
And eighth in line to the throne is believed to be still in custody.
Still.
BBC News understands the King was not informed in advance of the arrest. Police are searching Andrew's former home, Royal Lodge in Windsor, as well as his new residence on the Sandringham estate in Norfolk. Photos and videos showed vehicles believed to be police cars arriving at Sandringham earlier this morning. Well, Mr. Mountbatten-Windsor is alleged to have shared sensitive documents when he was Britain's trade envoy with the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
Really?
Andrew, who turned 66 today, has consistently and strenuously denied any wrongdoing in relation to Epstein. Well, shortly after Andrew's arrest, the King issued a statement, and he said this: "I have learned with the deepest concern the news about Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and suspicion of misconduct in public office. What now follows is the full, fair and proper process by which this issue is investigated in the appropriate manner and by the appropriate authorities."
Now, I do believe this is the first time, I think this is the first time a royal has been arrested. It's not the first time they've ever had run-ins with the law, though. Princess Anne wasn't fined, but in 2002, Princess Anne was, I think she was fined. Yeah, I think she was fined because her dog attacked two boys in a park in 2002. The thing is, yeah, and she paid a £500 fine. She was also caught for speeding in 2001. So there's been a few things, like there have been people pulled over, people in car crashes, but never actually arrested. So this is the first time in the modern age that a member of the royal family has been detained by the authorities. Actually, the last time that happened would have been English Civil War. It was 1649 when Charles I was arrested before he was executed. We have made... That's more than 500 years in the making, boys. We did it. Well done.
In this,
well done for the Republicans, okay? And by the way, I mean, when I say Republicans, I mean in the British sense, not in the Democratic. Republican is in... You think the head of state should be elected?
I have said before, they have our full and wholehearted support and cooperation. Let me state clearly, the law must take its course. As this process continues, it would not be right for me to comment further on this matter. Meanwhile, my family and I will continue in our duty and service to you all. That is the statement from the King. Well, over the coming hours, we will be live in Windsor and live in Sandringham, and we'll be assessing the legal implications. What does this mean for Andrew? We'll look at the circumstances of his arrest, and we'll be speaking to our royal correspondents about this unprecedented event, the unprecedented nature of this development. Let's start, though, with this report from our special correspondent, Lucy Manning, who broke the news earlier today.
Yesterday, we were reporting on the large number of police forces.
Steve Lookner's rival here, she broke the news, Queen.
Who were investigating or assessing information coming out of the Epstein files. And this morning, there were pictures from the Sandringham estate near to where Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor's house is, or where he's living at the moment, of what appeared to be police officers at the scene. And at 10 o'clock this morning, BBC News were able to confirm that Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor had been arrested. And shortly after that, Thames Valley Police put out the statement to confirm they didn't name him, but they said a man in his 60s had been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office and was now being held in custody. It is quite an astonishing development. Obviously, there has been a lot of news outside after the release of the Epstein files, but the idea that the king's brother, the man who is eighth in line to the throne, who was until recently a prince, has been arrested and is in police custody is obviously extremely significant. It goes without saying that these are just allegations at the moment, that previously he has denied any wrongdoing in relation to the Epstein files, but this is a very significant...
Thanks to $20, grassroots hegemon. We could fire this dude. No, fuck that. I want this guy to stand fair trial, okay? I want him to stand in court. Oh, it's such a shame we don't do televised court hearings. We don't do it. Will Trump pardon him? Maybe. Maybe. He might do. Yes. He might. It's very possible. I was wrong earlier, by the way. I said that Charles was arrested no, he wasn't arrested in 1649. He was he was killed. He was executed in 49. He actually a lot of people don't know this. When Charles I, this is like the only civil war that they had in England, basically in the last fucking 1,000+ years. Charles I actually, because he was the king during the Civil War, and when he was losing, he handed himself over to the Scots. He handed himself over because he thought that they would help him escape. I think he tried to get him and his son to escape to France. The Scots, however, they turned him over. They turned him over to Parliament. And then he was executed 3 years later. Before that, obviously, I guess royals being arrested would have probably been Mary Queen of Scots. Or, I don't know if Henry VIII's wives count. But yeah, it's not very common. Not very common you put a royal in jail.
Significant development in various police forces investigating
what country did the arrest today? The United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. His Majesty's Bobby Force did it today.
Coming out of the Epstein files.
And Lucy, what do we understand about the allegations against Andrew? What are we being told so far?
Well, Thames Valley Police have been investigating, well, assessing really, it's now an investigation, but they've been assessing a couple of allegations against Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. This one that they've arrested him on is for misconduct in public office, suspicion of misconduct in public office. And it goes back to his time as a trade envoy, where there is a duty of confidentiality in documents. And the allegations that came out of the Epstein files were that he was passing on, sharing documents with Epstein that should have been confidential. That will all now be investigated by the police. At the moment, there are police at Sandringham and at Windsor Lodge, the Royal Lodge, his former home in Windsor. So searches, it seems, are being carried out. He will obviously now spend the day being questioned, a day that is actually his 66th birthday, but he will be answering police questions instead.
Well, that was our special correspondent.
What a fall from grace, man. What a thing to be a first for in such a long time. Proper fucking British, good old-fashioned British nonce bashing. Hell yeah.
Manning, who, as I said, broke the story earlier on today. Let's cross live now and speak to our correspondent, Noor Nanji, who is at Sandringham, at the Sandringham estate, where Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor was arrested this morning. Noor, just talk us through what happened this morning.
Well, we are currently standing just up the road from Wood Farm. It's just over my right shoulder there. And this is in the Sandringham estate. And as we know, this is Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor's new home. He's been living here for about 3 weeks. He moved here after that latest drop of the Epstein files. It is his temporary home because initially he moved here and then the plan was for him to move to Marsh Farm, which is over to my left, another property here on the Sandringham estate. But what we understand is that you know that this morning there was a sizable presence here for photographers and also the media because, of course, as Lucy was saying there, it is Andrew's 66th birthday. So there were some photographers here ready, camped out. And then what we understand happened was that at around 8 a.m.
What is this fucking spacker? Is this new? What the fuck is this guy doing? What is the... It looks like... I put it side by side with this. I think I could. With this David Attenborough. I can use audio for this, can't I? Where is it? Where is he doing? Oh yeah, here. I put it side by side with this.
This old lady loves DIY.
Is this current?
So does her son, who was born in the wild.
These guys, they've never been seen in the same room.
Even her infant is interested.
Fucking state of this man.
Very striking when you sit as close to an orangutan as this to see how similar they are to human beings. We are both, of course, great apes. But look how human her hand is.
This guy's education costs more than some people's salaries, bro. Cream of the crop of British society, eh?
Around 6 vehicles, now believed to be unmarked police cars, entered into the Sandringham estate. Later, 3 were seen to be leaving, and one photographer later told us that he believes that Andrew...
No, I'm just going to stop you right there because
stop
we're
her.
just
Breaking news.
Can I
breaking,
stop you right
breaking,
there for a
breaking.
second? Because we're just seeing here at Buckingham Palace. I don't know if you can see behind me. There were a number of vehicles just driving in with police. We believe that King Charles has returned to Buckingham Palace after attending a royal engagement earlier on today. We've just missed it, but we saw a motorcade of maybe 2 or 3 cars, including one with the King inside, just coming round the corner and into Buckingham Palace. A lot of tourists then just running towards the entrance of Buckingham Palace just to catch a glimpse of the King. We mentioned earlier, actually, that the King has continued his royal engagements today. The King and the Queen, both of them, have actually continued with their pre-planned royal engagements. Remember, the King had no idea, according to Buckingham Palace, in advance of the arrest of Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. So that all of those plans that were in the diary for today were carried on as normal by the royal family. Apologies to Nor there. We've had to leave her temporarily. We will go back to Nor with more on Sandringham in a moment, but let me just bring in, if I may, royal correspondent for The Telegraph, India McTaggart. There we go. I had to quite unedifyingly take that microphone to bring it close to you. You just spotted the King there coming back.
These people have the best fucking job, man. What do they even say? What's their name? India. India, we're going to deploy you to the palace grounds today. Your job is to stand by the palace grounds, wait for something to happen, and then tell the people when something's happened. Copy that. Yes, I believe I heard you correctly. My job is to stand by the Buckingham Palace grounds, wait till something happens, then inform you when something happens. Let's go.
It's been obviously a difficult day for him, but as he mentioned in that statement earlier, he'll continue his duty for the public and continue what he's doing.
So we do believe it might have been him. I couldn't quite catch a glimpse because they went quite fast. It wasn't his normal car that he uses, but the police protection officer.
You interrupted your mate, your colleague, because you saw a car that might be him. Oh, that's great. Listen, what do I do if I think I maybe saw something? Well, if you think you maybe saw something, well, you could have let us know. Let us know if you maybe saw something. What the fuck? But what you do is you spend the first 60 seconds acting as if you definitely saw something to keep people's attention.
On their bikes were there, and we know that he is attending an engagement at London Fashion Week imminently. Actually, this afternoon we have Royal Rota waiting there for him, so he is continuing on as normal, which is generally the royal family's MO. I do think the sort of old saying of never complain, never explain is pretty much over, but they have to be seen to be continuing with their duties, serving the nation, especially at this time, because they need to be seen to be stable because of everything that's going on, all the controversy, all the attention on Andrew. I think the best thing the king could do, as he did, was release the statement saying the police had his full support and cooperation wholeheartedly, and talking about how it needs to be a full and fair and proper investigation, but he needs to now continue on with duties as normal.
I'm so interested in what you say about never explain, never complain, and the end of that. Do you think the Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor saga has made that happen, or was that something that King Charles really wanted to kind of change as a fundamental of the royal family?
I mean, it's a good question, because I do think that as the monarchy modernises, that we no longer have Elizabeth II, that potentially was going to...
I wish America prosecuted our Epstein class. Isn't it interesting that the two Epstein associates who have been prosecuted are both English? Okay. Bad day for the empire, man. How we have fallen.
Happen more and more because we are just in a different era. They speak a lot more directly to the public through social media, through videos. We saw that with Catherine's illness as well. She chose social media to communicate directly with the public. So I do think we are in a different time. But yes, potentially the Andrew saga.
Almost as if there's literally no fucking need for you to act like you have this job where you basically just spend the entire day standing outside the palace and then let them know and interrupt if you see something. With an extra provision that you also have to interrupt them if you think you see something.
The last few years.
But make it sound like you saw something for a bit before you're asked, and then confirm that you didn't, in fact, definitely see something. You might have just thought you saw something.
Has sort of been the nail in the coffin for that motto, because they can no longer be seen to be sort of just these mysterious behind closed doors, not transparent at all, not saying anything. I know that there are demands for them to actually be more transparent about their finances too. So I think the public is sort of becoming more savvy, wanting more information from them, and particularly about this, they need to be seen to be fully cooperating, and everything's above board and by the book.
Okay, India, thank you very much indeed for that, India McTaggart. Well, King Charles's biographer and friend Jonathan Dimbleby has been speaking to the BBC's World at One radio programme, and he told us more about the position the King is taking after Andrew's arrest. Have a listen.
I think that my first thought is that the King has made the statement that we heard just earlier. Yeah. That does not surprise me at all. Not at all. He's head of state. He's at the apex. He is the crown in this respect. So were there to be a trial, were there to be a charge, it would be in the name of the crown of the king. But it would be in character as well. He made it very clear earlier that he would cooperate with the Thames Valley Police were there to be any questions that they would like him to answer. So I think that it demonstrates oddly, perversely, if you like, because people talk about the damage to the royal family, it demonstrates actually the strength of the Constitution in this respect, that the police have acted without fear of favour. They've treated him, as we've just been listening, as if he were any other citizen, without fear or favour, without any sense that because he is a member of the royal family, that he should be given kid gloves treatment. He hasn't been.
But he isn't, though, any other member of the public, is he? I mean, he is the King's brother. And I wonder what you think about the damage that this does to the royal family, to the monarchy.
I don't think that it damages the monarchy. I think we have to separate the notion of a family from the institution of the monarchy. I think it's very important. It's very easy to ally the two. And I have to say in parentheses, I think that the former Duke of Edinburgh used the most unfortunate phrase when he talked about the family business. It's not a family business, first of all. Secondly, if you take the individuals, the senior, he mentioned, the King mentioned, didn't he, that all the family would continue to help. If you think of the Prince and Princess of Wales, the Princess Royal, the Duke of Edinburgh, they are all doing their duties. They will individually have feelings about this. I do not see that because one member of the royal family
out an Arby's for a guy who stole a free refill and finding out he was also Jeffrey Epstein's pilot.
has been arrested, maybe, we don't know, maybe charged with a very serious offence, that brings the institution in disrespect. On the contrary, it demonstrates that the institution is functioning.
Except
compare it with the United States, for instance.
Was I muted the entire time? I'm so sorry. Grassroots Hegemon, thank you so much for the $20. I don't know what any of that means, but thank you. And also for the 10 gifted subs. Thank you very much, you guys. Mostly you, the one person, for making this so far a very lucrative nonce bashing. Thank you so much. Wow.
The DOJ. Yeah. Such a contrast where the DOJ can't operate effectively.
He wasn't given kid gloves. He was just given a kid. Wow. Dark. Good one.
Without the say-so of the whimsy of the head of state there, who was the president.
Except Andrew is still, he's still currently 8th in line to the throne, isn't he?
That's true.
Can you separate them then?
Well, formally, he is that. In reality, and I think it's possible for him to be removed from that position. In fact, there has been talk about that happening and process being put in place to bring that about. But I think that's a sort of sidebar issue, frankly. It's sort of it's straining for a gnat, to use that as an illustration that there is a significant damage done to the monarchy.
I make the point in introducing you. You are close to the King. You're also just a long-time watcher of affairs in this country. And the royal family have had many crises over the years. How does this compare?
I think it is a crisis. It has, I suppose, two elements. It's a personal crisis for the individuals involved. I mean, whatever the members of the royal family individually may feel about this and about their feelings for their brother, that's one thing. But it's grievous for them to have to endure the institution being put under such incredible...
Say the vibrations are poor.
You're telling me, man. You're telling this country, dude. One of our royals is being... This is our first arrest of a royal in over 500 years, and it was on his birthday.
Scrutiny.
Fucking brilliant.
At the same time, I think that that what will happen is that we will put this into, when we look at it more coolly and in perspective, we will see that the institution has emerged from this.
Yes, I understand that you Americans struggle to digest that as a concept, like the fact that things could have happened 500 years ago anywhere else in the world. Yes, I know that your country is like really new and exciting and cute and whatever, but yeah, 500 years ago we were still kicking around. Fucking King Charles I turned himself over to the Scots because he thought the Scots would look after him, but then they handed him over to the English. To the Puritans, wasn't it? To Cromwell, the Roundheads.
Weaker, but arguably, seems perverse to say it, I grant you, arguably stronger because it's working. It's worked. One can say, and you have to be very careful what we say about him, because he's said he's totally innocent, and therefore one mustn't prejudge whether or not he's charged. It's very important. But he has clearly, by his behaviour, that brought about the decision by the police to arrest him, which is a very significant move. He has done significant damage for the moment to how people see the institution. That's because of the elision between the role of the constitutional monarch and the nature of a family that happens to be the royal family at the same time, which, as you rightly say, is not an ordinary family.
Okay, have you had a chance, it's early days, have you had a chance to speak to the king?
No, I haven't. Okay. I'm speaking for myself, and I try always to speak for myself, incidentally. Otherwise, you said I'd been knocking around quite a long time. I wouldn't have been able to knock around without being some kind of fink.
Wow. For all that you say, there will be people who look at this and think, honestly, the royal family, it's an anachronism. How does it work? And you will have a rise in republicanism off the back of it.
How does it work?
I don't know. You might do. Certainly, Republicans will exploit this enormously, of course. And it's very easy to work up a simple passion of one kind or another. My instinct is that it won't be like that for most of the.
Oh God, Chudlogic, is he covering this? He's English as well. This will hit closer to home to him. We're watching from man. Why are you fucking kidding? Where's the volume? Huh? Is he muted? What's going on?
About what he's done and issued apology for it. Okay,
dude. Fucking Andrew's being. We've got a royal being arrested, and he's talking about Nux Taku and shit, dude. We've got a nonce bashing on your fucking doorstep. Why he lives? Isn't he live in England? I don't know how far he is from the palace or from London. He can't be that far, right? He sounds like
Cards grammar in his novella. Mr. Gunter will be.
What the fuck is he watching? This. Oh, remember this guy? This fucking nutter who mogged the shit out of Alex Gunter in a video essay exchange. Dude, why is he watching this? It's not fucking Andrew. What the fuck? He's missing out, man. Can he not be the correspondent? Can I not send him down? Do you think we could fundraise? We can get Chudlogic to go down to the palace and to just hang around and let us know if he sees something. And to also let us know if he maybe sees something, even if he didn't actually see something. Get him down there. He's done IRL streaming. How is it for? It's like a 1.5 hour flight to London. Can I do it? If I get up and leave right now, it'll be dark when I get. It'll be like 6 o'clock when I get there or some shit because of the tube and all that. And assuming there's not a flight that's just taking off in the next fucking. How long did it take me to get to the airport from here? 45 minutes. We need Simon McCoy there. What happened to him? Is he just too old? Dead? I don't know. West London. Simon McCoy was this BBC reporter who occasionally got assigned to stand in front of the palace and say if he sees something. But he just did not take it seriously in the slightest. He just thought it was a bunch of bullshit. So every now and then there's like these clips of him just fucking huffing and puffing about having to stand in front of the palace and tell someone when he sees something.
West London, Simon. Yeah, do let me know if you hear anything. Jane, thank you very much. Jane Hill at Buckingham Palace. Not everybody is enjoying the spectre of the speculation, endless speculation. A couple of texts coming in to the BBC. Come on, BBC, people do have babies. Stop saying the same thing over and over. Give us the rest of the news. What a load of sycophantic rubbish, says another. Good morning. And God help us if this ends up a long labour. That's a view that I have heard expressed here by a couple of people. So, we'll just wait and see. It could be tomorrow morning, if all goes well today and there are no complications, that we see the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and their new boy or girl, third line throne, walking out of that door behind me here at the Lindo Wing. But until then, we're going to be speculating about this royal birth with no facts to hand at the moment. Back to you, Ben.
Simon, thank you.
So it's still pretty windy, but it is going to get a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, last night I was lying in bed and I've not heard a wind like that for an awfully long time. I mean, oh, that's just wrong, isn't it? Anyway, you know what I mean. And
well, that's him doing the weather. I want his royal moments. Where's him making this guy? It was. There's been a few, yeah. my god, what's this fucking music?
But anyway, I'm not sure how much news this really is. But anyway, it's April, so clear your diaries, get the time booked off, because that's what I'm doing. And, well, anyway, that news just coming in from Kensington Palace. You're watching Afternoon Live. Walking out of that door behind me here at the Lindo Wing. But until then, we're going to be speculating about this royal birth with no facts to hand at the moment. Back to you, Ben.
Roundabout now. Can you just see her?
No.
She's in a dark coat.
I know what she looks like, Sarah. We can't see her. Harry. I can see Harry, Sarah.
We can move from the spot. Can you see? Great.
Let us know if you see something.
Right, now we've got something to talk about again.
Meghan is
Well, if I can quote you, Simon, plenty more to come, but none of it news. So, you know, there's...
Cheap shot, but all right.
Two-thirds,
I want him. Where's he? Although he might actually not feel that way about this, because this is actually a news story.
Public. We've heard those moments where individuals have shouted out Republican sentiments, or what did you know about this, Charles?
Did you say 16? Oh yeah, I'm being a retard, yeah. Because my head always does this thing where I hear like 16 and it like shifts it to 24-hour clock, so I think 4. But yeah, it's less. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm retarded. All right. That's the gist of it, okay? Well done.
Individuals in crowds who did not like what they were saying. And I think that when we look at the polling...
It's actually 380 years, so I was off by, only 120. Big fucking deal,
I don't think that the monarchy is going to go far down. It's gone down before in the polling. It's come up again. It's always hovered around a particular percentage. And that's not least because, A, it seems to function as well as any other head of state institution, and no one seems to know what you put in its place.
Well, that was Jonathan Dimbleby there speaking to The World at One on BBC Radio 4. Let's cross live now and speak to Graham Smith, CEO of the Anti-Monarchy group Republic. Graham, thanks so much for joining us on BBC News. You heard there from Jonathan Dimbleby. In his mind, the institution of the royal family emerges from this.
Oh my God, look, this guy has set up his prop. Look how intentional this is. Not my king, not my king, not my king. Abolish the monarchy, dude.
At this point in time,
do you have any other interests?
Undamaged. What's your opinion on that?
Well, I think Jonathan Dimbleby has lost his mind. I mean, his comments were absolutely absurd. This is doing a huge amount of damage to the monarchy. I mean, to suggest that no one knows what the alternative is and that the polling isn't...
Did he just call David Dimbleby Jonathan Dimbleby, or is he...
collapsing? I mean, the man is clearly needs to get out more. This is a very, very serious crisis, the worst serious crisis the worst crisis that has hit the monarchy in living memory in the democratic era. We have an institution that is already losing support quite rapidly. We have an institution that most people under the age of 50 are not that bothered about. And now they are exposed to quite serious accusations. It's not just Andrew. There are serious questions being asked, as we heard, hecklers asking them. BBC journalists, not so much, but hecklers...
Yeah, but it was David who just spoke, wasn't it? I don't think Jonathan Dimbleby spoke.
Asking these serious questions about what did William and Charles know, when did they know it? It's not serious to suggest that Andrew, if these allegations are true, has been behaving like this over the last 25, 30 years and no one else knew. So there are much more serious questions which are not going to go away about how far the rot goes in the monarchy.
Well, there's absolutely no evidence of any prior knowledge of the King nor Prince William. What there is evidence of, though, is what we've been seeing, and that is that at least to some degree the King has allowed the law to take its course. And surely that is all a head of state can do.
This is a very nice pro-royal BBC.
To be fair, he can't really disallow it. Like, what do you think he can do? Even if he wanted to, what's he going to do? I'm pretty sure, well, if you are... No, they could have done something, actually, yeah. If you're a royal and you're on palace grounds, you can't be arrested. I'm pretty sure that's the law in the UK. Let me check. Can a royal be arrested on palace? I think it's just in Buckingham, or... It's either in the monarch's presence or within the verges of the palace grounds, or in the monarch's presence. Yeah. Yeah, that's a rule. Yeah, you can't arrest a royal You can't. I literally so by the books, Andrew could literally fucking murder 20 fucking girls and then just hop over the fence, and they can't arrest him here.
Your line in there. Let's push the palace line, because I mean, there is evidence that the royals knew. Andrew Lowney has made that abundantly clear that there is evidence that the royals knew. So I don't know why he said that.
How does Andrew Lowney know? What's his evidence? Where does he get his information from?
You'll have to talk to Andrew Lowney about that. But just to simply dismiss it out of hand is just simply not acceptable. Now,
I'm not dismissing it. I'm saying there's no evidence for what you're saying.
Well, that's not true. So, but apart from anything else, it is not serious. And any serious journalist would know this, that you cannot believe that Andrew, surrounded by police, by civil servants, by government ministers, by other royals, for 30 years, 40 years he's known Epstein, that no one knew anything about anything that he was up to. That is not a serious thing.
Are you fucking kidding me, bro? Like, what do you think people do? What do you think people are like when they're having a normal sex life? Do you think, what is this retarded shit? Like, I don't know why people seem to think that, that, like, if any of people in chat, okay, if any of your mates turns out to be a nonce, right? Are you really going to be surprised that they weren't telling you about it? Like, what the fuck? This guy, man. This guy is... I know he's obviously got his fucking day in the sun and everything, but fuck, yeah, God.
And journalists like yourself should be going to Charles. They should be the ones standing at the fence line saying to Charles, what did you know when, and getting those answers. Because until we get those...
And he'll say, and Prince Charles will say, what, bro, no, how would he say? He'd be, what do you think you think I'm sitting down for a Sunday roast with my nephew and... Wait, no, Andrew's his son, right? Okay. You think I'm spending... Father's Day with my child, and he's just telling me, "Oh, Papa, wait till you see the incredibly underage woman that I had intercourse with last weekend." No, you fucking retard! Like, that's not. Yeah, that's probably not a very plausible interaction, huh?
We can't say whether or not they knew. So those questions need to be asked.
They're siblings. Oh yeah. Yeah, Andrew is actually Charles' sibling. Yeah. Okay, same thing. Fucking... I don't know. Do nonces tell their brothers who are not nonces that they're nonce? I don't think they do, actually. Do they? That's probably not something... I feel like if you're out there, fucking... I would say, generally speaking, okay, if you're a pedophile, you're probably not going to tell your brother or anyone, whatever.
So, in terms of what Charles has said, what has he said? Nothing. He's had his press office put out two bland statements. One saying that he will support the police investigation. He can hardly say the opposite. And now saying that, of course, justice has to...
And Charles is just so fucking old. I just assumed like with the crown, yeah, because the Queen was obviously, yeah, oh, okay.
Take its natural path. Again, he can't say the opposite. What he hasn't done is said that he will make sure that all of the royals' archives and records are going to be fully open to people that need to see them. He hasn't promised more accountability and openness. He hasn't offered any answers to those questions about what he knew or when. And what he ought to be doing, as Starmer did in relation to Manson, is standing in front of journalists and answering questions, doing interviews, taking those tough questions and saying, okay, this is where it went wrong. And then you may not believe Starmer's answers, but at least he's giving them. And Charles and William should be in front of cameras and should be in front of journalists and answering serious, probing questions. And journalists should not be taking at face value denials that they knew anything.
An investigation. Yes, but the King and Prince William are not under investigation, are they? It's Andrew who's under investigation. He's been arrested. What would be the...
Yeah, but I just need to use this opportunity to implicate as many royals as possible so I can have my little fucking French Revolution in the United Kingdom.
Legal premise for the King to be appearing before journalists and answering questions? I don't understand.
Why is there a legal premise for the head of state in a democratic society why is that a legal thing for them to stand in front of cameras? This guy should be accountable to us. The idea that they can just simply breeze past and not say anything is for the birds. This is the problem that they have, that they think that they can carry on as normal and it will all blow over. This is not serious. And, this is why people need to be asking them serious questions and saying to them, can we get William and Charles into a Newsnight studio, for example, and put them on the spot and say, what did you know? Why was this £12 million paid? Why are we getting accusations that Charles helped fund that and then Charles is denying it? Why are we getting all of these conflicting stories about who knew what when? Why is it that when they knew about the allegations from Virginia Giuffre 15 years ago, what did they do about it? There are other allegations around Andrew which have been known about in public. What did they know about those? What did they do about those? Are journalists asking those questions? No, not really. Certainly not the BBC.
So what do you want to see happen now?
Well, in terms of Andrew, obviously there needs to be serious investigation. The police need to know, and this can also be said by Charles, that they absolutely can pursue this through whatever avenue they need, follow the evidence as far as it goes, even if it starts implicating other royals. They need to have that freedom and know that they can do that without their careers being in any kind of jeopardy. And obviously that needs to then go through right to the end. Now, Republic has already launched a bid to pursue a private prosecution of Andrew, and we have lawyers investigating. Now, what we've said now is that for the moment, what we're going to do is continue some of that because there are other allegations that need to be investigated, and anything we find, we will hand to the police and ask them to look into it. But, there are a number of other things that have not yet, that no one's yet.
William seems like a prude. Wasn't William having an affair at some point? Which is weird because... Whatever.
Been arrested for, and there are other allegations which have been certainly supported enough to go into books like Andrew Lowney's book that do raise serious questions. And there are other questions about simple good conduct in public office rather than criminal conduct in public office, in terms of the high levels of secrecy, the misspending, and the unwillingness to stand in front of journalists and answer questions.
OK, well, Graham Smith from Republic, it's good to talk to you, and I thank you for coming on to the BBC and answering my questions, so thank you.
Thank you.
Just to reiterate, at this point in time, I think it's going to be helpful to tell you that Andrew has always denied wrongdoing in relation to Epstein. He's not responded to the BBC's request for comment on any of the specific allegations in relation to the release of those Epstein files in January. And also, those accused haven't had a chance to respond, and the BBC haven't seen specific documents about other accused people. So just important to underline that fact at this present time. I think we can go now to some pictures that are coming to us of Queen Camilla. Remember, I told you earlier that Queen Camilla was continuing with her public engagements. Here she is in Westminster earlier today. I can tell you that the Queen was questioned about the arrest of her brother-in-law, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, as she left the engagement in Westminster. As she got into a waiting car outside a lunchtime orchestral concert at Sinfonia Smith Square Hall, used to be called St John Smith Square Hall. She was asked, "Are you concerned about Andrew's arrest, Your Majesty?" At that point, Camilla waved at the cameras but did not respond. So there you can see the pictures of her at Sinfonia Smith Square Hall. It's very close to the Houses of Parliament. It's in central London. The music concert there. Remember, Buckingham Palace has confirmed that it had no advance warning of Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor's arrest. So all of these previously planned public engagements by the royals have continued as per normal. So we have had a lot of talk about how this unprecedented event has impacted the royal family here in the UK and what people have been saying about it here. But
here's the full statement. I didn't see this earlier. Is this actually the Politics UK? They're that's right. Wait, is it? Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. A statement from His Majesty the King. I have learned with the deepest concern The news about Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and suspicion of misconduct in public office. What now follows is the full, fair, and proper process by which this issue is investigated in the appropriate manner and by the appropriate authorities. In this, as I have said before, they will have our full and wholehearted support and cooperation. Let me state clearly, the law must take its course. As this process continues, it would not be right for me to comment further on this matter. Meanwhile, my family and I will continue in our duty and service to you all. Okay.
What about over in the United States? Let's cross live now to Washington and speak to our chief North America correspondent, Gary O'Donoghue. Gary, just talk us through what people are saying now, given what's happened to Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, about the Epstein files and what they mean in terms of Washington politics.
Do the voice, you coward. Not for free, buddy. What the fuck do you think this is?
Well, you're starting to see some individuals in Congress suggesting that, there's a bit of an example here in the UK for what should be happening in the United States. Now, it's worth being absolutely clear that the investigations here, particularly the congressional investigations, have focused exclusively on Epstein's activities as a trafficker of women and some underage women. They haven't really been involved in looking at other aspects of his life, of his finances, of what he did or didn't do for other people. So there's that distinction, I think, with what we're seeing in the UK today with Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. But of course, the two things are not unconnected in the sense that what we're seeing in the UK has come as a result of the release of all these files in the US, more than 3 million files, and all the kind of details around those who knew Epstein and had dealings with Epstein, like Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, and all the other details of the kinds of connections they had. So,
oh, I understand. You were saying my screen's broken. Oh no, he actually just looks like that. That's just what he looks like. This guy.
In a sense, the two things are connected in that way, even if they're not directly connected with what Congress here is particularly looking into.
I'm pretty sure he's blind. Like.
And what those here are looking for in particular, which is other people to be charged here and wherever, quite honestly, with crimes relating to Epstein's activities as a sex trafficker and as a molester of women and young girls.
And that's it, isn't it, Gary? There's just been pressure, hasn't there, in the US, and kind of questioning as to why no one has been brought to justice, other than, of course, Ghislaine Maxwell, with regards to the Epstein files and the crimes committed by the late convicted sex offender. This will put even more pressure, won't it, on those involved to bring anyone to justice, really?
I think that's right. I mean, I think the survivors here have been asking that question repeatedly.
Okay. Breaking news. Addition to this story, we have the police statement in full as Andrew was arrested. So to be clear, this is effectively like a white-collar crime that he's being arrested for, misconduct when in office. We can get more into that in a minute. But what that usually means in the UK is that an arrest like that doesn't actually last very long. Like, it's rarely... Sometimes they might hold them overnight or for like 24 hours, but for an initial investigation for misconduct, they'll have him detained so they can search his fucking house or whatever. But usually it's only a few hours. So that means it's going to be a big day for the people in the profession of stand outside the building and wait until they see something and let people know when they see something or if they think they've seen something, because they're probably going to report at some point in the next few hours that they have in fact seen something or think they've seen something, and they're going to have to report that they have seen something or think they see something. So it's going to be a big day. Police statement in full as Andrew arrested. Wow, thanks YouTube. Thanks OBS for that little fucking crash. Beautiful. Police statement in full as Andrew arrested. We've seen now a statement from Thames Valley Police which says, as part of the investigation, we have today, 19th of February, arrested a man in his 60s from Norfolk on suspicion of misconduct in public office and are carrying out searches at addresses in Berkshire and Norfolk. Wait, my chat is not moving, even though there was the F in chat. That's a problem. Has my stream did it actually shut down? Oh, fuck me, man. Come on. Let's see. Oh, you're here. Okay. Ooh. All right, okay. Don't be too excited, guys. It's only a massive nonce bashing. What the fuck? It's only something that hasn't happened in nearly 400 years. Cunts. All right. We will not be naming the arrested man as per national guidance. Please also remember that this case is now active, so care should be taken with any publication to avoid being in contempt of court. Assistant Chief Constable Oliver Wright said, following a thorough assessment, we have now opened an investigation into this allegation of misconduct in public office. It is important that we protect the integrity and objectivity of our investigation as we work with our partners to investigate this alleged offence. We understand the significant public interest in this case, and we will provide updates at the appropriate time.
Repeatedly, why no one else has been questioned, arrested, charged with any other crimes other than Epstein himself, who's dead, and Ghislaine Maxwell, who's in prison for 20 years. There have been no others. I was trying actually to think about any other arrests relating to Epstein at all, and the only one I can think of is Jean-Luc Brunel in France before he died about 5 years ago. It seems to me this is really the only kind of maybe the fourth arrest in relation to Epstein in any possible connection anywhere in the world, which, if you think about it, is quite extraordinary. But we'll see what people on Congress say. They have been asking repeatedly, particularly the Democrats, on something called the Oversight Committee, which is the committee.
What is this? Andrew launches a foul-mouthed rant at builders from his high horse near Windsor home. I didn't remember this story.
After a torrid couple of weeks in the news, including a blistering
6 months ago
book depicting him as a sex-crazed buffoon, Prince Andrew has finally got the hump with speed bumps. Dozens of yellow and black safety obstacles have been installed across Windsor Great Park this summer, including one just yards from the front drive of Andrew's home at Royal Lodge. Now, how do we know Andrew has the hump? Well, and you'll have to excuse my language, but last week, while riding his horse around the 5,000-acre park, he spotted a workman hard at work installing a speed bump. Peering down from his high horse, the Duke said, "What the F are you doing now?" It's not the first time Andy has been less than diplomatic with his language. He was reported to the police in 2016 for crashing through a Windsor gate rather than drive a 1-mile detour. And a few years ago had a furious row with his female gardener, leaving her shaken and upset over wrongly cut trees. She now works elsewhere on the estate. While his former maid Charlotte Briggs revealed to The Sun that the royals...
Wait, why would you say excuse the language if you're just going to say F rather than fuck? What the fuck?
...swore at her over a pair of heavy drapes. She claimed he made her run up 4 flights of stairs to close curtains while he sat just yards away. And when she left a tiny gap in the curtains, he yelled, "Can't you effing do anything right?" The Duke of York has faced many obstacles in recent years. He has had a bumpy ride with that car crash Newsnight interview, being stripped of his royal...
Yeah, bumpy ride, bringing it back to the speed bumps. Good one, well done, The Sun. Top drawer tabloid journalism, fuck yes.
...roles in disgrace and forking out millions of pounds to Virginia Giuffre to prevent that sex abuse case going to trial. But wherever he goes now around Windsor, he can't go fast. Air Miles Andy will have to be slow down Andy. He has been defeated by a speed bump. However, I've seen that very expensive Range Rover he drives, and I imagine the suspension will just have to cope like everybody else does.
Wow. What an amazing little video. Okay. I love it that they're reminding us that this is happening on his birthday. I don't know, there's just something so satisfying about watching this happen to like a royal, especially an especially cunty royal. He'll be placed in a cell in a custody suite with just a bed and a toilet where he will wait until his police interview. No special treatment. Yeah, in most cases it's 12 to 24 hours. The absolute longest the former prince can be held for is 96 hours. Damn. 96 hours of stand outside the building and let them know if you see something, or maybe think you saw something, but might not have actually seen something, but thought you saw something. Crazy. But this would require multiple extensions from senior police officers in the magistrate's court. Well. What we don't know about Andrew's arrest. Okay. We don't know the specific allegations, okay? We don't know what information prompted the Thames Valley Police to arrest him. Where he's being held. Oh no, there's no building to stand outside and let people know if you see something. Fuck! Whether he's been interviewed under caution yet. Okay. Where's their explainer for what? They should have an explainer for what the particular crime is. But it's gone? Is it gone? Andrew's royal status should have no bearing on handling of investigation. Oh, really? That's crazy. David Lammy. The king and the palace were not told in advance. Okay. Could be about more than the Epstein files. Okay. I mean, that would be quite a coincidence. The law must take its course. Okay. Oh yeah, this is their legal guy telling what the crime is. Misconduct in public office is a really complicated offence. It essentially boils down to an allegation that someone who was doing a job on behalf of the British public did something seriously wrong, knowing it to be wrong. There are 4 elements or factors that police must focus on during their investigation so that prosecutors can later decide whether or not someone should be charged. First, the police must establish whether the person they're investigating was a public officer and the incident in question was plausibly part of those duties. Oh, plausibly. If that's agreed, the detectives will then look for evidence that the incident in question saw the suspect willfully neglecting to perform their duty or willfully misconducting themselves in some other way. That wordy definition has long been a source of legal debate. More on that later. What? The willfulness. Okay. The next question is whether the action they committed was so bad that it was an abuse of the public's trust. Lastly, if the evidence has passed those 3 tests, police need to examine whether the person under investigation acted without reasonable excuse or justification. That final question is crucial. It's a fundamental principle of criminal justice that someone suspected of wrongdoing is given an opportunity to put forward their side of the story, and that starts when the police come and knock at their door. Okay. So it is actually quite bad. It has to be a serious violation, and it also has to be willful. Okay. And there has to be a damage caused, abuse of the public's trust. Okay. Okay. Unreal, thanks for the £5. On the Grand Old Duke of York, he had 10,000 DMs. He spammed them up to Epstein's Island, and they redacted them out again. Well, this might not even... Apparently, well, they're saying this might not be anything to do with that, or it might be... Well, it probably is to do with that, but it might be to do with other things as well. Yeah, I don't know. Dwayne, thanks for the $5. What does this mean for your taxpayers' bees? My bees. That's a very old meme being rehashed there. Interesting. I don't know. That means that it's going to pay for an investigation rather than for criminal action, I suppose. Loner Unbox, thanks for the $1.99. Are you on the list? I hope not. Sir Brooks, thanks for the $4.99. Loner, are you English? How close to home does this news hit? Nobody here in the US is facing any similar justice. I think you mean justice. And I'm afraid that won't change. Yeah, I mean, Andrew kind of fucked himself, man. Because one of the things that's been shown is that his excuses that he gave in his interview were lies, that he told lies in that interview, and the emails have shown that. So that's quite deserved. Mark Tag, thanks for €5.99. Apparently the UK is blocking the US from using their bases to attack Iran. Seems everyone is as tired of Trump as we are, LOL, the Times. No, but I think that's also because we've made an agreement with the Chagos Islanders, isn't it? Like, are we not basically handing back this island that was used to be inhabited by some indigenous group? So I think, is it to do with that? I thought it was to do with that, or whatever.
Leading this investigation into Epstein's crimes, they have been asking Democrats for Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor to come here and give it evidence about what he knew about Epstein's crimes. And so far, he has denied that he did anything wrong. He hasn't answered questions recently. This is Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, whether he's prepared to come and answer questions relating to that side of their investigation. But I think this will fuel those who say, look, we need to do more here, because, look, even the Brits can bring some sort of investigation, some sort of inquiry, even if it's not relating to the specific thing we're looking into.
Absolutely, Gary, and it's important to add that there's nothing that can compel Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor to come to America, is there?
Nothing at all. I mean, look, if he came here and there were a subpoena from this committee, which is controlled by Republicans, it would have to be voted on. If he came here and there were a subpoena in place, he could be forced to appear before that committee, and he'd have all the constitutional protections that anyone enjoys while they're in this country. But no, they can't make him come and answer questions. Some have asked, for different levels of kind of appearance, depositions, questioning by committee members, potentially questioning by committee staff, all those sorts of things.
Look, Andrew doesn't sweat, remember, my dear boy. Well, chances are he's going to be sweating fucking razor blades right now, so good luck, yeah.
In the long run, and this is not connected to the charges he's facing or potentially facing in the UK in terms of misconduct in a public office, but if there are other charges, if he or anyone else were to face other charges outside of the US jurisdiction, then there'd have to be a government-to-government discussion.
Why are his eyes closed? I'm pretty sure this guy's blind. Oh, yes, I suppose he is. Stephen Bonnell is live on Russia Today. Interesting. Okay.
But we're a long way from that, obviously.
Gary O'Donoghue, thank you very much indeed. Well, earlier on today, prior to the arrest of Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, told BBC Breakfast that Andrew should cooperate with inquiries into Jeffrey Epstein. Have a listen.
Anybody who has any information should testify. Ooh. So whether it's Andrew or anybody else, anybody who's got relevant information should come forward to whatever the relevant body is. In this particular case, we're talking about Epstein, but there are plenty of other cases. It is anybody who's got information relating to any aspect of violence against women and girls has, in my view, a duty to come forward, whoever they are.
And the former Prime Minister Gordon Brown has called on police to interview Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. You've said he should testify to Congress. Should he voluntarily come forward to UK police?
Well, I think that's a matter for the police. They will conduct their own investigations. But one of the core principles in our system is that everybody is equal under the law and nobody is above the law. And it is really important that that is applied across the board. That is the principle. It's a long-standing principle. It's a very important principle of our country, our society, and it applies. And it has to apply in this case in the same way as it would apply in any other case.
That was Keir Starmer talking to my colleague Naga Manchetti on BBC Breakfast before news of Andrew's arrest came out. Let's take a moment now to remind ourselves of what exactly we know about the events of today. This report is from my colleague Alison Freeman.
Officers arrive at Sandringham ahead of the arrest of the former Prince Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. Thames Valley Police confirmed this morning that a man in his 60s is being held on suspicion of misconduct in public office. The BBC understands...
Mountbatten, eh? Beautiful British name.
It's in relation to when he was trade envoy and documents that are alleged to have been passed to Jeffrey Epstein. In a statement, the force said, following a thorough assessment, we have now opened an investigation into this allegation of misconduct in public office. It is important that we protect the integrity and objectivity of our investigation as we work with our partners to investigate this alleged offence. We understand the significant public interest in this case, and we will provide updates at the appropriate time. Earlier this month, emails released as part of the Epstein files appeared to show that Andrew shared confidential information with Epstein from his official work as trade envoy in 2010 and 2011.
So this is speculated to be why that would be quite relevant, right? If he was sharing fucking sensitive information. Wow. Lexi, thanks to $4.99. I would offer to be a Buckingham Palace correspondent, but it's kind of cold today, so have this instead. Damn.
They included reports on his visits to other countries and confidential details.
Do they have to use his full name every time? Yeah, I guess so. Because otherwise, how would they know which Andrew is being spoken about?
investment opportunities. Prior to Andrew's arrest, when questioned about the former prince, the Prime Minister said in a BBC interview that nobody is above the law.
One of the core principles in our system is that everybody is equal under the law and nobody is above the law. And it is really important that that is applied across the board. That is the principle. It's a long
Okay, it's just going to be news looping. Well done. We've basically got all the info. We've got the legal analysis. We've got the Epstein file context. We've got his history. Will the king testify then? Depends if the police think they have any good reason to. Would they though? No, I don't. That's the thing. Is like, I don't think Andrew's going to be protected because he is just too toxic for the royal family. Has this thing called the firm, and the firm is essentially this kind of like informal, behind the scenes institution, like all the staffers, people who basically uphold the royal family's image, and they handle finances and whatever the fuck else. But Prince Andrew, like former Prince Andrew, is just too toxic for them to care to help, I think. Like, there's no point. Like, they're so much better off just leaving him the fuck alone and letting him fend for himself. I easily think that's what's going to happen, but who knows. But as for Charles, it's very unlikely. Even if Charles actually knows a lot, even if he knows shitloads, nothing's going to happen with him. One more Simon McCoy for the boys.
Just got this coming in from Kensington Palace, news we just got. Their Royal Highnesses, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, are delighted to confirm they are expecting a baby in April. Now, bearing in mind they announced that she was pregnant back in September, and it was thought she was around 2 or 3 months pregnant. I'm not sure how much news this really is, but anyway, it's April, so clear your diaries, get the time booked off, because that's what I'm doing. And, well, anyway, that news just coming in from Kensington Palace. You're watching Afternoon Live. Now, they're...
God bless Simon McCoy. God bless. The man who breaks the fourth wall of stand outside the building and let them know if you see something or think you saw something, even if you didn't see something.
Happily, Chris Daw is with us, a King's Counsel, barrister and author of Justice on Trial, Why the System is Broken and How We Can Fix It. So, to begin, I mean, where to begin, Chris? I bet you weren't expecting to be dealing with questions like this when you woke up this morning, any more than I was expecting to be asking them. But, I mean, I don't want to turn it into a game of top trumps or a sort of hit parade. How serious is misconduct in public office, and how often do we see it in a court?
Well, firstly, James, when you're in my line of work, you tend to wake up to stories like this.
I take your point. Well, all right.
Oh, shit. Goal. Well done, guys. We got the goal. We got the goal. In less than, what was it? They started like an hour ago? Yeah, shit. Well done, guys. Wow, what the fuck? You know what that means? You know what that means? Where is he? Grassroots hegemony. Yeah, I mean, there's others too, right? Obviously, yeah. That means there's time for another goal. Fuck!
But perhaps not all telling you that someone's in this position, so it's not so unusual for me. But so the answer is this. I mean, firstly, we all have to be super careful now, don't we? Because we all know that the Contempt of Court Act kicks in as soon as someone is arrested, and that means that any seriously prejudicial comment which is made in the media or on social media is potentially something for which you could be prosecuted yourself. So I think people need to be very, very careful about wild comment about this, particularly ill-informed comment. So let me answer your question. What's misconduct in public office? Well, it's broken down into 4 elements, and they are these. First of all, that the defendant must be a public officer acting as such. Now, that, in this case, is not, to me, entirely clear, but the police must be satisfied that he is a public or was a public officer. Secondly, they willfully neglect to perform a duty or willfully misconduct conduct themselves in that public office. So that's the second element. The third element is that misconduct must be an abuse of the public's trust in them as an office holder. And finally, the conduct must be serious enough to deserve criminal punishment. So those are the 4 elements of misconduct in a public office. It's very, very broad, as you will gather. It can cover a multitude of circumstances, but without making any comment on the merits one way or the other, it seems that this is focused very clearly on the release of confidential government information to Jeffrey Epstein. That seems to be the gist of it. It does not, as far as I can see, have anything to do with sexual misconduct so far.
No, indeed, although investigations involving up to 9 police forces continue in that field as well. A slightly odd question for you, Chris. You may not want...
Why are you wearing the same clothes from yesterday? It's not the same, it's the same jumper. You can wear a jumper for several days in a row before it becomes a problem. What are you talking about? It's fucking freezing. I'm not sweating at all into this thing. So it smells normal. It smells like nothing. It's a jumper. What? Maybe if I'm sweating through my t-shirt, then yeah, but that's not happening.
Want to or indeed be able to answer it. But our colleague Andy Hughes broke a story earlier this week that has had extraordinary traction, although it's likely to disappear under the weight of coverage of these latest developments today. And it was about Royal Protection, close protection officers reportedly going a bit native, turning a blind eye because of the status of the people that they were looking after. How will the legal system, the police, presumably lawyers, does the status play any part at all in the process now? And I'm thinking more subconsciously than consciously. There'll be police officers who are pinching themselves, right, and poking their phones around the corner of the custody suite, one imagines.
Yeah, I mean, this is always difficult. I've done a number of very, very high-profile criminal cases involving very high-profile individuals, and you do find that the police do sometimes behave in ways that are quite extraordinary compared to the way that they behave for sort of anonymous people, if you like, or someone who's not in the public eye. The reality is that is a danger. When we've seen it over the years many times with protection officers in different situations with members of the royal family and so forth, where there has been a suggestion of behaviour that crosses the line in terms of becoming more of a personal support network rather than acting in an official capacity as a police officer. And police officers are definitely public officers acting as such. So if any police officer was involved in any improper or unlawful behaviour in relation to Andrew, then that would expose that officer to risk.
Do we know? I mean, forgive me if you answered this. I don't think you did. Precisely what makes? I think you said you didn't know. But what makes a public officer?
I wonder what the average Bobby thinks, though. Like the average cop in England, do they? Is there? They probably are, because obviously, like you want to serve the nation or whatever. You're probably going to be more fucking pro-monarchy than most people, but also probably more anti-nonce. Like more aggressively anti-nonce. That's my guess anyway. I don't fucking...
Officer, a public officer, because speaking entirely as a member of the public, I'm not sure I had any idea that Andrew Windsor held a role that involved him being a public officer, as in sort of representing me in any way.
Well, you may not have been, but the police are clearly satisfied of that. Otherwise, they wouldn't have arrested him for this offence. And as I understand it, this relates to a period when he was a trade ambassador of some kind for the UK, and we know that he did fulfil trade roles over the years with foreign governments and elsewhere, and of course there has been a certain amount of scandal about some of that activity on his part. But all I can tell you is that there is a narrow category of people. It does include government ministers, it does include civil servants, police officers, and people who are obviously acting on behalf of the public, and it does also include people who are contracted or in some way commissioned by the government to act in a public office on behalf of the public, as Andrew apparently was.
Yeah, so it may have looked like something of a sinecure from the outside, but from the inside, as you remind us, it would have been government sanctioned, and therefore, for the police's purposes and indeed for ours, it would be public office. Unfair question. Can you think of cases from the past, like what would be the big textbook cases of misconduct in public office that you would have learned at law school or students might still study today?
I was involved in perhaps one of the most high-profile ones, which was the Hillsborough prosecution of the police officers in the Hillsborough case for their dealings with the evidence gathering, etc. After the Hillsborough disaster, where it was suggested that they had misconducted themselves.
The Hillsborough disaster was when there was a football stadium in Liverpool that was between management, and it was so badly mismanaged that like obviously these fans are like quite rowdy, so like they have to make sure there's like not too many. Cause they used to go into these pens. It wasn't always just like seating and one ticket, one seat. They would sit in these pens, like there's these big kind of like standing areas. So they had to. You're supposed to like usher people in so that there's like people are getting spread around evenly and everything else. And if you do it wrong, then people can overcrowd and get stressed. And in this case, they basically just fucking ushered in way too many people into what became a very tight area. And then they also couldn't get out because of the way that they were organizing the movements. And people I think like almost 100 people got crushed to death. Yeah. And it was basically just because like the person who was in charge just was like completely fucking negligent and didn't give a fuck, and they tried to blame it on the fans afterwards. They tried to blame it on like hooligans and out like drunk fans, but then it took over decades actually before everything came out in the wash for that.
Of course, they were all actually cleared in the end by either a jury or a judge. But that's the sort of a classic example. There haven't been a huge number of prosecutions for this, but it can often be used even for much simple things like a police officer who...
This is an absolute fucking crazy event.
So on a clear sunny day...
I think this is probably the most deadly football event ever, isn't it? And it had nothing to do with hooliganism. They tried really hard to blame the fans, and there was just nothing there. Like the Sun tried to blame the fans for a long time.
Hillsborough. The stage is set for a rerun of last year's classic. Liverpool in red, Forest all in... The teams have just left the field here, taken away by referee Ray Lewis. The trouble away to our left, where there's a packed enclosure of Liverpool supporters. 2.5 minutes after the match started, they really came over the top of the fence. Away to the left at the moment, there must be some 100 or 200 people on the pitch. An ambulance has just come into the stadium and it's making its way through a vast crowd of people away to the left. There would seem to be, from where I'm sitting here, dozens of people now lying on the ground and being attended to by police and St John's ambulance. I saw 2 oxygen cylinders being carried down the touchline just below us minutes ago. Some of the people at the back, understandably through sheer fear, are trying to climb their way up into the upper tier once more. I've now seen 15 stretchers carrying bodies away, alive I must stress, and at the moment they've been ripping up some advertising boards because they've run out of stretchers, and they're being used at the moment to take people away. Away to the left, the corner flag. I see for the last 10 minutes a nurse has what I think been giving a kiss of life to one young fan who looks in deep distress.
Alongside me I've got Dr. Glyn Phillips.
You look at the area, see that this is where they're being sort of directed into. Like they're just like these, it's just a pen. And with people coming in behind you, if you want to get out, you can't, because there are people coming in. Yeah, fuck.
In deep distress. Alongside me, I've got Dr. Glyn Phillips.
There was one chap I went to, he was clinically dead, he had no heartbeat, he was cyanosed, and we resuscitated him for about 10 minutes, and we were just about to give up when we got his heart beating, but I don't know what the state of his cerebral function is going to be like.
Well, I think the biggest irony is that the sun is shining now and Hillsborough's quiet, and over there to the left, the green Yorkshire Hills. The gymnasium here at Hillsborough is being used as a mortuary for the dead. And at this moment, stewards,
very strange,
just as they did at the Heysel Stadium, have got cartons and little paper bags, and they're gathering up the personal belongings of Liverpool and nothing else.
There's 27 years it took before justice was done in this case. Damn. Oh, fuck, I didn't know they did a fucking reconstruction of it. The fuck?
The tragedy occurred as thousands of Liverpool fans massed outside Hillsborough.
Yeah, the Sun is still notoriously unpopular in Liverpool for this.
Lepping's Lane End. The antiquated turnstiles at the ground meant admission was slow. To speed up entry to the ground and alleviate the crush outside, police ordered Gate C opened. This resulted in hundreds of fans rushing into the already full pens 3 and 4, situated directly behind the goal. The influx of fans caused severe crushing in the 2 pens, forcing fans to climb over the fences and up to the upper level to try and escape.
Pretty much. There was that one guy as well who survived, but he was so oxygen deprived that his brain got fucking permanently damaged and he's just like a permanent vegetable now. I think he's still alive, actually.
Accesses criminal records to help for his friends. It can be something as low level as that, or it can be something as high level as sharing state secrets with a convicted paedophile, as seems to be the allegation.
Was this in the 90s? Yeah, mid-90s. I think. No, wait, was it 90s or was it? Wait, maybe I'm losing it now. No, it was 89. Yeah. I always confuse the number dead with the year because it was 97 who died, yeah. Over 750 injuries. All right.
Here.
Was John Profumo ever prosecuted for it? I should know this.
John Profumo, I'm afraid I don't know if it was misconduct in public office or some other form of espionage or something of that kind. I don't remember the specific offence, but the headline issue, in the sense of revealing confidential government information to a foreign power, as it was in his case, is the same principle here. I mean, if you reveal highly sensitive and confidential government information to a private individual who has no interest in that and no legitimate...
It's worse when you remember that most of the deaths were young people. It was... most of the deaths were, what was it, just about 40, 80 of them were, 40 of them were between sort of 10 and 19, and the other 40 were between 20 and 29.
Interest in that information, then there is obviously going to be a risk of prosecution.
And there will be a solicitor hot-footing his way probably to Kidlington in Oxfordshire or to somewhere in those environs as we speak, with a quite extraordinary brief in front of them, potentially.
Well, absolutely, there will, of course, and Andrew has previously been represented by solicitors, and that...
This was the Sun. This was the Sun. None of the. I think pretty much all this was fake. It wasn't actually even like some fans. I think this was just bullshit. Some fans picked pockets of victims. Some fans urinated on the brave cops. Some fans beat up the PC, giving kiss of light. Like, fucking hell, man. The truth. Gates of hell. What a fucking rag.
And that's in the public domain. I'm not going to mention any names, but the name of solicitors out have been acting for him in the past are in the public domain. And I'm sure
this was way after Rupert Murdoch owned the Sun, right? Same guy who runs Fox News. Yeah.
That whilst, again, we can say that sometimes lawyers can be prone to celebrity kind of behaviours, etc., I'm sure that the lawyer will do his or her job and ensure that Andrew is properly advised and that the interactions with the police are conducted fully under legal advice of his rights and indeed the risks attaching to police interviews.
Chris, given that we're all going to be using the word unprecedented an unprecedented amount of times today, before I let you go, are there any questions I should have asked you that you haven't actually answered yet?
That story about people peeing on cops. The people were pissing, but that's because they were injured. Like they were because they had been compressed for so long that they were like it was like a result of their fucking injuries. Like that's why people were peeing. Like fucking because they were stuck in a fucking pen and being oxygen deprived and shit.
Anyway. I don't think so, because I think the problem is that you mentioned before how this is the huge story and this is going to be headline news now all over the world, no doubt, for days and days. But the difficulty is that we don't really know very much. We don't know what the police have got. We don't know what the evidence is. We've seen some of the Epstein files releases, the material that's come out recently, which relate to Prince Andrew in different ways. But apart from that fairly limited public information, we just don't know the scope of the investigation. So personally, whilst I'm happy to come on and kind of explain the mechanics of this to you, I think we all need to just for the time being, avoid this kind of speculation which tends to end in problems for the criminal process and indeed doesn't really help the public's understanding if we are totally speculative rather than sticking to what we do know.
Wise words indeed. Thank you very much indeed, Chris Dorr, barrister and author of Justice on Trial, Why the System is Broken and How We Can Fix It. And of course, Chris also reminding us why, under advisement as things stand, we are not going to be inviting phone calls onto the programme. Not because I don't trust you, because I do, but because none of us have found ourselves in situations quite like this before, and the very last thing anybody would want to do is jeopardise any criminal investigation, even though, as I have repeated on a number of occasions, no charges have yet been brought. I love the moment, though, of people just turning on the radio. Oh, flipping out, I've missed the first 45 minutes of James's show. I wonder what he's wanging on about now. So you've just clicked your radio on. I've always got you in the back of my mind, by the way. The person who has just in that moment turned the radio on. Because sometimes you'll hear things that make absolutely no sense at all out of context. Lifted completely out of context. But today,
Really?
if you are
Imagine
just
that.
joining us, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, as he currently calls himself, the former Duke of York, the former Prince Andrew, is under arrest. He was arrested this morning at his new home in Norfolk, or at least where he's currently staying, on the Sandringham estate in Norfolk. And he is under arrest on suspicion of misconduct in public office, which Chris Daw has happily just provided us with a much better understanding of. 10:45 is the time. I hope this doesn't sound inappropriate. I mean, I'm glad that the late Queen isn't alive to see this, actually, because it is a moment of... I'm going to use the word, and I'm going to stop making jokes about using the word, because it's the only word that fits. It's a moment of unprecedented jeopardy.
Okay. Oh, man. What the fuck? Unprecedented jeopardy. Is that really for the royals, I guess? Okay. Didn't the Queen cover so hard for Andrew? No, not really. I mean, she helped pay for the fucking settlement, but then at the end of the day, I'm like, if the plaintiff has agreed to settle, then, you know, and Andrew can't pay the money himself, then I don't know how protective that is. And they stripped him of his titles at the time as well. So I don't really know how much she protected him. I know that was a very popular talking point it was a popular talking point when the Queen died, because there was that whole routine where a bunch of American fucking retards had to celebrate the Queen's death, and then afterwards they had to find all the justifications for celebrating the Queen's death, because no one fucking knew anything about how the monarchy works or what she did or what she was about or what she thought. By all accounts, it seems like the Queen's politics were, if anything, like center left, like Social Democrat, but or maybe like just like liberal, like bog standard liberal. The only prime minister she ever actually had a row with was Margaret Thatcher. But oh well. And it was over apartheid. It was over Thatcher not wanting to join the rest of the Commonwealth in sanctioning South Africa. So interesting that was like pretty much the only time where her views on politics were spread into the public. Well. Emily Maitlis,
a few
the
people
one who
already
interviewed
this
him, what's she
morning have
saying?
mentioned that Newsnight interview conducted by my learned friend Emily Maitlis, which continues to...
Did you just call her his learned friend?
A few people already this morning have mentioned that Newsnight interview conducted by my learned friend Emily Maitlis, which continues to
Maitlis, yeah,
have extraordinary ramifications and ripples. But to be clear, Emily, this is about the Epstein files. I mean, the sense of a blue touch paper being lit back when you sat down with the then Duke of Windsor is impossible to shake. But the story now is moving into entirely different territory.
Honestly, I think I'm the last person to come to this bit of news. I walked out of a physiotherapy appointment for my back and just suddenly realised what had happened. So
you mean to tell me you weren't standing outside the building waiting until something happened so you could report that you've seen something or thought you'd seen something, but it wasn't actually something?
I mean, without getting too sort
pathetic.
of therapeutic about it, I'm actually just trying to take all this in as we speak. And
what kind of British media figure are you?
It's Ernest Hemingway, that quote, which is gradually and then suddenly. You know, part of my brain thinks
my learned
that interview
friend.
was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, it was a long time ago. So in a way, we've all kind of been, we've kind of been at the point of expecting something to happen. But I think what we are learning is actually how critical the release...
That's crazy, man. 6 years ago. Just to give you all a grasp, okay? We are farther from that Prince Andrew interview than Israel was from the Holocaust and the 48 War. Okay.
So the Epstein files have been to all this because allegations of sexual abuse, notoriously hard to prove. I mean, isn't that the pain that, you know, so many of the victims have had right the way through, that they have not been believed, or they've not been listened to, or they've literally been called liars, and they've been called frauds, and they've been called money grabbers. And I guess there is an irony in a way, isn't there, that this has all happened so quickly in the last 3 weeks because of what looks to be, and obviously, you know, that all we know is what is alleged. It looks to be an email chain that traces, you know, what Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor was sending to Epstein involving trade or trade deals or stuff that were basically part of national security.
Well, both big breakthroughs, for want of a better word perhaps, to do with that, both the Mandelson and the Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor story, to do with the alleged passing of information, potentially sensitive information, to the paedophile, not to do with, as you remind us, with the other allegations that surround certainly Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and obviously the dead financier Jeffrey Epstein. And those investigations continue. 8 forces joining the Epstein files investigation. To sort of nudge you into the arena.
Stop saying Epstein. What are you doing? No one calls him that. What the fuck? My learned friend.
Arena of opinion and speculation. How significant have the desperate attempts of the White House to downplay, to keep secret, to continue, of course, to misrepresent what is contained within them from Donald Trump himself? How big an obstacle to justice do you think that has been? Or let's say to progress, because we don't know what justice means in the current context.
I would say that there is a sort of trend emerging now, which is every time Trump tries to silence somebody or shut something down, it just becomes bigger. You know, whether it's politicians appearing on the Stephen Colbert show, whether it's the freedom to look at the Epstein files, whether it's the way journalists are talking, the way universities are teaching. Every time Trump focuses on something, in order to...
Palace, right, so Prince Andrew has just been gaped. Unlucky.
Thank you for the $10, Speedy Taco. Remember the debates you had over the Queen? Yep. I distinctly remember. Yeah. I seem to remember more than one person, including Lance from the Surfs, effectively just getting upset that she didn't use her powers for good. Like what? Like you want a monarch to just do things? You want the monarch to... You're okay with unilateral action being carried out by a dictator as long as it's what you agree with? Like, that's kind of revealing. Okay.
To shut it down, we sort of turn around and go, hang on, maybe we should be looking at this a bit more closely. So I think there is definitely an argument.
Is Loner pro-monarchy / Republican? No, I'm Republican. But like, at the end of the day, it's just that if you're going to abolish the monarchy, it has to be an act of parliament. Like, that's it. And if it's going to be an act of parliament, it has to be on the policy platform of whichever party is trying to get into power. And the fact is that no one in the country gives a fuck enough about abolishing the monarchy because they literally do nothing to actually waste time doing it. So no one runs on it. So unless we get to a particular point, it's going to come to a point where there's a royal who everyone fucking hates, right? Andrew is not going to be the catalyst for that because he's been disowned effectively by the monarchy, by the firm. So, but one day there will be some king, or like I imagine like if William gets the crown, like he'd probably be a fucking retard. And it'll be something like that. But right now there's just no appetite for it.
That if Trump had not been quite so defensive about this, if he had stuck to his original sort of line, which was, you know, talking to his MAGA base about the importance of getting this all out, J.D. Vance saying there is a network of paedophilia going on, we need to see it all.
Loner, Chud was losing it on you 3 minutes ago. But what'd I do? What'd I do? Was it about Andrew?
Of his audience were
What the fuck did I do? 3 minutes ago.
$3. Thank you. Hey, Wheezy Little Liar. Thank you for the gifted sub. Thank you. Thank you.
Exactly 3 minutes ago, or what? I can't see anything.
So
I
highly
can't see my
questionable,
face.
given his decision to launch the server with a set of NSFW channels, including an addition
Lonerbox is trying to get
will be removed 6
right,
days
here.
after the server was open to the public.
heard that.
The
Okay.
announcement of their removal does mention issues like
The bridge is burned. The bridge is burned. Ah, dude. I'm being one-guyed. Lonerbox is trying to get me off the scent for Nux Taku because he's got an inherent desire to defend Jewish Israelis. That's what's going on.
Wait,
They're sneaking in by lying about their
Wait, what's going on? What the fuck? What's the context for that?
My fucking stream.
most basic, common sense rule for an NSFW community was too much to ask.
Hang on.
On December 30th of 2021, Nux Taku would launch his Discord server.
That's right, I opened a public Discord server. I swore to myself I would never do it because the degeneracy would be too much and the degeneracy is already too much. So join that Discord server.
Why haven't you talked about the Turkey Tom stuff? I talked about it yesterday for hours. What are you on about?
It's a public server. It's open. 16 or older though, please?
I am happy that he has a minimum age rule this time, but setting it to 16 is a massive self-report that he is aware that a large chunk of his audience is underage. It's also highly questionable, given his decision to launch the server with a set of NSFW channels.
Lonerbox is not happy that you aren't covering Prince Andrew, who is currently under arrest, and are instead covering Nux Taku, an Israeli pedophile who is not facing any legal troubles. Why do you think that is? Hungers for a suck Jewish cock.
What? I did talk. What? I have fucking spoken about Prince Andrew. I spoke about it on Kick earlier, and I talked about it at the start of the stream
Kick,
today.
okay. Why not on YouTube?
Why is Lonerbox so fucking concerned? Maybe he should concern himself more with doing apologia for IDF soldiers blowing the brains out of Palestinian children than he should about trying to be a producer for my fucking stream. What fucking business is it a fucking Lonerbox what I talk about on my fucking stream, dude?
Wait,
Are you
am I being autistic? I can't tell if he's actually angry or not. What the fuck? I actually can't tell. Is he
fucking serious, dude? What is he on about? Why is he even paying attention to what I'm talking about on my fucking stream? What is this guy on about?
Because you're the most English person I know. And there's a nonce bashing on our I think okay. I wasn't actually meaning to rage bait, but I think I don't know, maybe that he's been fighting with people, or he's probably I think because yesterday he did seem like he felt quite betrayed by Deorio or whoever else, and I think maybe now he might be in like threat mode. I hope not, but let's keep going anyway.
Are you fucking serious, dude? Are you fucking serious? He's really complaining about what I'm choosing to talk about on my stream.
Yeah, I'm fucking furious, apparently.
Well, I've already fucking spoken about it. Is that true? Is that true? Wait, what? What the fuck, bro?
Including an NSFW voice channel. To be honest, I was surprised that there were NSFW channels when the server rules said 16 and up, because NSFW is supposed to be 18 and up. I mean, if you already watch Nux, fair. To be clear, those channels were supposed to be only for adults. But given the state
Confront him live.
Yes!
I feel like I'm getting trolled.
Bring him on. Bring him on. I'm totally serious, yes.
You were just saying yesterday you guys are friendly.
I have an instinct to defend. I have an instinct to defend this the most retarded Jew in Israel. Yes, yes. The most despicable, retarded, nonce Jew in Israel. Yeah, that's a much more plausible explanation for why I'm... Okay.
Not anymore! Not anymore, dude! Fuck Lonerbox, dude! Right. Dude, that was banter. Come on.
Of Discord's age verification, setting a channel into NSFW mode doesn't really do anything to stop minors from accessing it. All they
Call in now. What's a Lonerbox?
Yes. No, go to the palace and tell me when you've seen something.
If you didn't say anything, then I can't really call in and complain about it, can I?
They have to do is lie about their age to Discord. The channels were fortunately removed
God.
6 days after.
Fuck, now I understand. Now I understand how, like, one guy chatters feel when they actually get a rise out of you. Okay, and now I understand. Because sometimes they're probably just doing it for a laugh, right? And they don't actually mean what they're saying.
The server was open to the public. The announcement of their removal does mention issues like
The bridge is burned! The bridge is burned! Ah, dude. I'm being one-guyed. Lonerbox is trying to get me off the scent for Taku because he's got an inherent desire to defend Jewish Israelis. That's what's going on.
They're sneaking in by lying about their age. However, the main reason was
Anyway, you see, if I was as weak as Chud, I would be getting angry right now and being like, I actually covered that video already. You're late to the party, bruv. Late to the fucking party, bruh. I've already bashed Nonce. I've already bashed Jewish Nonce. Now I'm bashing Royal Nonce, okay? I'm moving up the ladder.
Come on, let's lock in. I'm focused on this now.
You're behind on the Nonce bashing.
W mode doesn't really do anything to stop minors from accessing it. All they have to do is lie about their age to Discord. The channels were fortunately removed 6 days after the server was open to the public. The announcement of their removal does mention issues like minors sneaking in by lying.
Wait, sorry, what is this fucking Discord shit, bro?
Okay, I think we're off it now.
They wanted to get a Discord partnership.
So all of those minors who were lying about their age in the first place.
Bro, how are people so fucking... Doesn't this... square...
Is he watching me?
Dude.
He the volume.
Okay.
We've got a royal being arrested and he's talking about Nux Taku and shit. Dude, we've got a Nonce bashing on your fucking doorstep. Why? He lives... Isn't he live in England?
Bro, he's obviously... Dude. He's obviously... It's banter, bro. I mean, mine was banter too, to be fair.
No, it wasn't.
But I thought he was being more serious.
He was triggered. He was one guy. I don't know how far he is from... to him. We're watching... Man, why, are you fucking kidding? Where's the volume? Huh? Is he muted? What's going on?
About what he's done and issued apology for it. Okay?
Dude, fucking Andrew's being... We've got a royal being arrested and he's talking about Nux Taku and shit. Dude, we've got a Nonce bashing on your fucking doorstep. Why? He lives... Isn't he live in England?
Bro, he's obviously... Dude. He's obviously... It's banter, bro. I mean, mine was banter too, to be fair. But I thought he was being more serious.
I don't know how far he is from the palace or from London. He can't be that far, right? He sounds like
a... grammar in his novella. Mr. Gunter will be...
What the fuck is he watching? Remember this guy? This fucking nutter who mogged the shit out of Alex Gunter in a video essay exchange. Dude, why is he watching this? It's not fucking Andrew. What the fuck? He's missing out, man.
Dude, it's obviously friendly. He's obviously being friendly about it. He's like, oh, maybe why did you not talk about it? The thing is, I did talk about it. But there's not really much to say, is there?
Buried it. Can he not be the correspondent? Can I not send him down? Do you think we could fundraise? We can get Chudlogic to go down to the palace and to...
Apologise?
Yes.
Absolutely not. I will absolutely not be apologising for that because it was funny.
To just hang around and let us know if you see something. And to also let us know if you maybe see something. Even if you didn't actually see something. Get him down there. He's done IRL streaming. How is it for... It's like a 1.5 hour flight to London. Can I do it? If I get up and leave right now, it'll be dark when I get... It'll be like 6 o'clock when I get there or some shit because of, the tube and all that. And assuming there's not a flight that's just taking off in the next fucking... How long did it take me to get to the airport? From here? 45 minutes?
Dude, that's unbelievable.
We need...
Well, he said it, but he was
McCoy
fucking
there.
around.
What happened to him?
I thought he was seriously doing like a scolding, like, why isn't Chud talking about this important news topic? But it's obviously fucking like good-natured. It's a bit of good-natured ribbon.
Just a wasted opportunity. Simon McCoy was this BBC reporter who occasionally...
Okay, listen, I need to explain something, okay?
Oh, what?
I had something much worse in my head that I was going to say about Lonerbox, okay?
Oh, no.
So I moderated it for, let's just fucking balance it out a bit. We don't want to go too hard because it could just be, a misunderstanding. So I lowered the temperature of the comments that I made from completely nuclear, insane shit to kind of funny comment about a more minor controversy that he was involved in, okay?
Wow.
I'm not going to say it now, am I? Because that's going to ruin the point of it.
Oh my god, is this like?
Oh my god, dude.
No, what's he got in the
Crazy
bag?
stuff.
He's got something in
Crazy
the bag.
stuff over there. Crazy stuff. Lonerbox is chewing me out for not covering it. Crazy.
And accessing the NSFW channel on Nonce's server would just get funneled to that.
Anyway, come on, let's not give DK too hard a time here. Let's just
look at his chat. Lonerbox is still snarking you, Chad.
NSFW.
Okay.
Well, I think it wouldn't sort of sit so starkly with what has been happening in the last 6 months in the White House. You know, Pam Bondi's saying there's nothing to see here. Let's talk about the stock market as a case in point.
What do we know about the process of release? And the answer to this may be nothing, but you're a lot more clued up on this than I am. Because this huge tranche of documents, millions of pieces of evidence potentially, and some of it was redacted, and then people discovered that it had been rather clumsily redacted, and they could run it through programs that would somehow remove the black.
I mean, I think there are lawsuits going on now. There are lawsuits going on because of the redactions. More seem to be covering up the men involved in the alleged criminality than the women involved who were the victims and the survivors. And so there are lawyers working for the survivors now who say, I don't understand. Like, this is the exact opposite. If you had planned something that would make victims of sexual abuse feel worse and feel their lives were in danger, this is what you would produce. And I mean, you know, we don't know if there was a calculation going on, but it's not entirely impossible that somebody was...
Wait, what? Who's calling? Oh. Hello.
Hey, how's it going, mate? You good?
No, not really.
Why? What's up, mate? What's
it's
going
just
on?
a lost opportunity, you know? Because because I just have this fundamental instinct to defend the worst, most retarded fucking pedophile in Israel, apparently. So what I really want is a good, honest, authentic Englishman to stand in front of the palace and interrupt the stream when they think they've seen something. You know what they do, like the BBC? Like those guys?
Hey, listen, man, I got baited into talking some shit, okay? It was. I was a bit annoyed, but I ratcheted it down from what it could have been. I could have gone a lot harder and a lot more aggressive, okay?
Oh, yeah.
That was me at a 6. Okay?
I won't like you when you're angry, yeah?
Dude, bro, I thought that you were like literally scolding me for not talking about this story, and it's like, well, I've spoken about it. And why do you care anyway? But it was more light-hearted. You're having a laugh. I understand. I get it.
Gotcha. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How are you doing? How have things been?
Yeah, fine. Just one day at a time.
I hear that you're a massive Israel shill now. Is that true?
Just more than most, I guess. Because most people are kind of mental about it. But that's a long story, okay? It's kind of old news.
No, it's
now
fine.
anyway.
Listen, I'm being a bit silly. We don't need to get into that, okay? We don't need to get into the politics. Any drama recently that's piqued your interest?
Well, Prince Andrew. That's it, yeah. Nothing else otherwise. Been keeping a quiet
First time in a while that a royal's been arrested for hundreds of years.
380, yeah.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Do you know the story about fucking, what's his face? Charles I. Do you know how he got arrested?
No,
I only read about this today. Yeah, so he was losing the war, the civil war against the Roundheads, and then he turns himself into the Scots because he thought the Scots would protect him and help him flee to France or whatever. But they took him and just handed him straight over.
Jesus. That's crazy. Sorry, I wasn't really paying attention. Chat are kind of popping off about you.
Okay, why?
I don't know,
listen,
dude.
If they want to fight, they can come in here. It's fine, whatever. Otherwise...
Dude, I think people just want me to fight everyone at the moment, I think. They just don't like me. They don't like me being friendly with anyone, you know? So they want me to just viciously fight people. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
Well, wait, what the fuck? Sorry, I'm getting double called. Hang on. Well, yeah, I mean, if there's ever a disagreement, we can scream at each other. But...
Yeah, but you talk about boring politics shit, don't you? You're all in the politics stuff. And I mean,
you spoke to Peace Code, didn't you? And you did research and shit. That was funny. That was good.
Yeah, I did, bro. I think, do you know what it cost me? Hundreds of subscribers because people thought I loved ICE. When it wasn't true. I didn't like ICE at all. I just was interested in the legal analysis of the shooting.
No, I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good debate.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Points made on both sides. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Have you been in any debates recently?
MAGA people mostly. Some snarkers. Just, yeah, mostly MAGA though. It's all that fucking January 6th
Some
stuff
snarkers.
keeps coming back.
What do you mean by that? Tell me more.
I mean, it wasn't even on my stream. There was just like, there's this guy that like follows me around. Like he's literally, he went to Edinburgh University during the Palestine protests, and handed around a fucking dossier about me, like a 3-page physical dossier, and had a picture of me. But it was a picture, it was like a fake picture. It was like a Photoshop picture of me with the GigaChat face. And then I find this guy's Twitter, and there's like these pictures of him in Afghanistan hanging around with who he says are the Taliban. So that's been a bit awkward. But yeah, he comes in every now and then for a
I told him to do that.
scrap.
That's my guy. That's one of my
your
guys
guy,
I've sent
okay.
after you.
Your little correspondent. Okay.
Bro, that's nuts though. Why do you think you got such a kind of negative, like, detractor thing going on there? What have you done that's so bad?
I understand that like the way I am is like I'm quite snarky and I'm a bit of a like smug cunt in debates, which is fine if you're a fan, but if I'm disagreeing with you, then you're gonna get really, really fucking mad. So yeah. It's okay.
That's just the kind of British way, though, being a little bit snarky.
Yeah, but you notice like Americans are they're a lot more fucking sensitive. I don't understand this whole thing because I was watching. I don't know the story with you and Diorio yesterday, but I got the impression from your end, okay, without taking sides or whatever, because I just literally have no idea. But the way you're talking about it, it sounds like there's this thing where people get into fucking fights about stuff and it can get quite aggressive and all that. But then usually like a day after, people are just laughing about it. Like I feel like British work, especially like British working class people, like that's just how people do things. But whenever a fucking foreigner is involved, like someone from Australia or America or whatever, then suddenly it's like you need to tread on eggshells and people need time to process things. I'm like, it's just very different. People are built different.
Sure. I mean, I think that there's some people, and these are probably people that end up watching me, that have got more of an understanding of the British way of doing things. But yeah, there are some people that are quite sensitive, I guess you could say. You know? But I don't know, man. Listen, at the end of the day, people can make their own minds up about that drama. But it does feel like some people can't take banter, as I like to call it.
Yeah, well, listen, if I ever start souring on you, I'll probably just say something. So...
Yeah, well, what's so tragic about this terrible misunderstanding is apparently the other day you were saying we're on friendly terms, which is true. We are on friendly terms as far as I understand.
Yeah.
And then I've just gone absolutely brutal on you. Terrible. Oh, by the way, what was the IDF story? Because I don't even know what happened there. I just know it's a funny thing to mention that you defended some IDF soldiers shooting a Palestinian child to bits. What's the actual truth?
Okay, so just for full clarity, that's exactly what I said. It just makes me really happy when Palestinians get shot in the head, especially if they're kids. I don't know, like when an accusation becomes like that, I'm just like, okay, if you're the kind of person who's going to seriously believe that, and you've seen any of my content, then I probably just don't want you watching. You probably should be in like an institution or eating glass. Like what?
Do you think some of this is linked to like Hassan and your kind of ongoing beef with him?
I mean, that's the method, isn't it? Like extreme claims, smearing, deflecting. Yeah. That's what they do. I mean, there's definitely like, if you want to be charitable, there's like a couple of clips where you can, like, where out of context or whatever, it can seem like I'm being like overly, like reflexively defensive of the IDF or whatever. But yeah, like there was this claim that went around that there were basically soldiers just like willy-nilly fucking sniping like little fucking babies in the head. But then when I looked into it, it just didn't seem to be like it was as. I don't doubt that it's happened, but it didn't seem to be as widespread as people were claiming it to be. And as far as I can tell, that's held up. So,
well, I, for one, would never defend a controversial state authority, you know, using violence against citizens. I think that would be a terrible thing to do.
Yeah,
I'd never get into that.
Oh yeah, so I've heard. How do you feel about the ice killings?
Terrible business. Is that? Do you want me to actually answer that?
No, I mean, we watched the debate. I know the answer. I think. Well, actually, no. Fuck. Was it? Do you think in both cases, Renee Good and the other guy, Prey, you think they were both justified?
Well, justified in what way? Do you mean can it be legally justified, or do I think on a moral or ethical level they're justified?
Give me both.
Renee Good, legally yes, morally very questionable. The other one was a lot more clear cut, like terrible. You know, morally and legally reprehensible, I would say.
Okay. I think with Renee, yeah, I mean, in both cases, it's going to be pretty unlikely either they even go to trial, right? Like,
well, but the thing is with that is like that's because they're federal agents and federal. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but no federal agent on the ground of Waco or Ruby Ridge was ever prosecuted for anything they did. So you know, like federal agents just don't get prosecuted in America because they've got such strong protection.
Yeah, and that's especially with that would be even more so with the Supreme Court because there was one thing you brought up the Supreme Court with was it Kavanaugh and like 3 other guys talking about their justifications for or like being basically like encouraging leniency with cops compared to
yeah.
Did you find the arguments that they made in that convincing?
It's a mixed bag because I do have some sympathy for like a cop doing a traffic stop and then the person starts acting erratically and going to drive off, and the police officer's got to make a decision about what they do to potentially protect the community. But really, it's not about. I found it overall convincing. There's some points they make that are compelling, but really the more interesting thing for me is just how much latitude American police officers get, and the fact that they are basically given free rein to just shoot someone to bits if they can justify a threat to the community. And that seems very broad. And it seems like that's the direction it's going in America, giving more leniency to cops rather than less. And that seems like a problem. And I don't know how you fix that problem because that seems to be the direction it's going. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, on the one hand, you can be sympathetic to the fact that like you're in a population of armed people. Fair enough, but I guess like on the other, when you had it sounded like that must have been like Clarence Thomas who added that thing in where they were like, oh yeah, traffic stops might seem completely innocent, but some traffic stops can get really dangerous. And there's like, oh yeah, Ted Bundy was a traffic stop, but I'm like, okay, but there's a reason that you're supposed to treat the severity of the crime like the crime. Like, imagine if you started treating every traffic spot like the person might be Ted Bundy. That's probably going to be a lot more accidents on the cop side than on the other. But
yeah, sure. I think it's it's obviously the idea. Then this is the other problem as well because the obvious idea is that you should comply with the police. That's what we believe as a society, to keep everyone safe. But at what point do you stop complying if the police are unreasonable or they're moving towards fascism or something like that, And that's another thing I don't really know the answer to. Like, if you're some fucking illegal in America, it probably makes sense. It probably makes sense to fucking run away from ICE. You probably wouldn't want them to comply, and you wouldn't want to comply yourself because you're just going to get kicked out of the country.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a citizen, like, unfortunately, even if the police are being quite bad, like, you probably are still going to be safer if you do what you're told. Like,
at this point, at least. Not if you're a Palestinian, though, eh?
No, definitely not. Yeah, fuck.
Okay. Anyway, listen, I think my audience is getting bored of me talking about ICE again, and they're worried I'm going to nuke my channel further. So,
yeah, well, listen. Are you definitely not going to go to the palace and report when you've seen something or think you've seen something?
No, dude, the problem is, and this is another reason I was so enraged, is because I don't really know what else there is to report on it, right? It's like...
no, there's fuck all, man. Like, he's gonna get released within the next sort of 12 to 96 hours at the most, because it's still just an initial investigation, but that's literally it. But nonetheless, the BBC reporters are standing outside the palace.
They're standing outside, yeah.
Freezing their fucking knobs off.
News.
Yeah.
So you're saying nothing ever happens, is that right?
Well, apart from a royal getting arrested, that's new. The last time there's been a run-in with the royal and the law was what? It was Princess Anne. She got fined £500 because her fucking dogs attacked 2 boys in a park.
Bro, did you just know that off the top of your head, or did you have to look it up? Because I saw that, but I looked it up.
I looked it up today, yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. You don't need to feel emasculated by my depth of knowledge, don't worry.
Okay, no problem. I was just assuming you know nothing. Great stuff.
All right, fuck you. Okay, have a good stream.
Okay. You too, catch you later. Bye.
Bye.
Doing that to shut them up.
And it appeared and then disappeared and then appeared again. I mean, it certainly looked to be a finger on various buttons, didn't there? And
I meant that in a nice way. Scottish. Yeah.
I mean, I spoke to Sky Roberts, who is Virginia Giuffre's brother, who has been campaigning on her behalf, I mean, even more intensively, clearly, since her death by suicide last April. And one of the things he says is, it's all there.
Oh, fuck, I'm so sorry, Mina. Okay, yeah, hi. Okay, it's time. I didn't know you could call someone while they're on a call, but I guess it makes sense. Hello, Mina.
You're my 13th reason why.
Good.
Okay.
Never liked you anyway. What can I do for you? How's the fundraiser going?
Great. We have exceeded the goal significantly. we're at almost 14K. So yeah. Yesterday I stayed up until like 3 a.m. crunching all the numbers. And I can share now that we're gonna have 110 care packages. That will be 50 for soldiers and 60 for elderly and families. So yeah. I've been basically calculating how much everything costs, how much to provide for each person, what they need. Like, it was a lot of like prioritizing like specific items for specific people. Sadly, we had to cut out a lot of the things that I wanted, like personally, to add to the care packages, but really we only have, a certain amount of money, and winter is ending soon, so we kind of have to hurry up and get these things out to people. Yeah, I can share like basically what I have calculated. What? No. Hold on. These people are like chatting so much in that group chat. Okay. There you go. It's uploading. So that's the things we want to get. I have already transferred the money from the fundraiser to Ukrainian Anna, which, by the way, some people apparently, instead of donating to the fundraiser, donated to her. So she raised like $900. So we're gonna use those to like, plug some bits and bobs. And yeah, for the people that care, I'll share basically.
Yeah.
Hold on. Just so we're on, I want to be as transparent as possible about this. Just so everybody's aware, yes, the money has been transferred, and Anna is now basically responsible for ordering the things because we have to source them in Ukraine. The logistics of like getting things outside of Ukraine, sending them to Ukraine is just too complicated. And sadly, there used to be like a thing with DHL where people could send care packages for free, but that has stopped in 2025. So yeah, but if we can source things in Ukraine, that's fine too. We're gonna get a power station for the boys in the front. Apparently that's something highly sought after. And basically we're gonna get power banks for the civilians. These are gonna be like beefy power banks, like I think 60K milliampere per hour, like really thick, chunky things. So they can, use their heated blankets whenever they want to. And I'm gonna keep the fundraiser going. And the reason why is the volunteer group that is going to distribute the care packages to the civilians. Hold on. I'm gonna give you a link to them. They basically, what they do is they're basically like a soup kitchen. They are a volunteer group that basically cooks for people, and people can just go and get like bowls of soup and meals and whatever. And here is a link to their Instagram. And what I've been thinking is now any of the excess money that people are still donating, by the way, people are still donating, which is still crazy to me, even though we're like way past the goal. Any of the excess money I'm going to give to this volunteer group, and
this one that you've linked, right? The Instagram account.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to give that to them so they can provide warm meals for people.
Okay.
So yeah, that's about the ins and outs about this. I'm going to tell Anna to save all of the receipts of the things that she orders for the care packages, so I can make a Google Doc and put everything down, so everything is actually, you can check what we have bought, so to make sure that I'm not actually scamming people. So yeah, people can then just check the Google Doc and see where their money has went. I'm not sure if the volunteer group actually gives receipts for donations, but I'm gonna ask Anna and see. And also Anna, and I think she said she was gonna ask one of her friends to actually film when they distribute the care packages. And yeah, personally for me, I just want to see, people receive them, and even if it's just a small smile, that would just be enough for me. I personally, that's all I care about. I just want to provide just a little bit of relief. That's enough for me. So yeah, when the time comes, we're gonna, I guess, put those out, and people can see how people get their care packages. So yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, if anybody has any questions, you know where to find me. You can just write me a DM. And yeah, I'll be there to answer them, or on Twitter or whatever, if you have any questions about me personally, about the fundraiser, about how we're doing all of this. I'm literally, you can find me on social media. I can give you whatever you want when it comes to these things. But yeah.
Interesting.
If you hear anything in the background, my family is here, so.
That's all right. It's quiet enough. That's cool. Okay, so I think you also said earlier on that because of the way it works now, the money is going to first go to, to Anna, who's going to order the stuff from Ukraine. Is that what you said? Or
yeah, she's ordering them online, like mainly in bulk. So like the heat patches, the thermalware, the dry showers, because it's gonna be a lot of stuff. She has like her friends and the volunteer group that's gonna help her with like these things, because she's also just one person. And yeah, we're gonna document everything and make sure that everything's on the up and up. Yep.
Okay. Well,
and since she's ordering these things online, there's definitely gonna be receipts. And yeah, by the way, I always, when there's updates, I always post them on the PayPal, the fundraiser. There's like a little tab that says updates, and I just put whatever I can say in there. And what kind of power banks are you guys looking into? Was asking around to find reliable runs. Okay. This is like I guess a completely different topic, but no, I don't want a pizza, thank you though. Sorry. I had like an 8-hour crash out yesterday about power banks and how absolutely filled the German power bank market is with Chinese trash.
Okay.
I was trying to find a reliable power bank that I can source here if it's cheaper here than in Ukraine, because the power banks are more expensive in Ukraine. The one that Ukrainian Anna sent me was on American Amazon, and I can't order it from here, so I would have to get it shipped from the US to Germany and then from Germany to Ukraine, and that one is like 60 euros. So like if we want to get 60 power banks, that's just too much. It's really fucking expensive, plus the logistics. So yeah, the one that Anna is gonna get, I can link that one, I guess, in Discord for you, for anybody that wants to know what exact power bank we're gonna get. By the way, I can post screenshots and links. Well, not links exactly, but I can ask Anna for links for each item that we're gonna get, in case you're interested in what item we're gonna get for the care packages. So yeah, that's about it.
All right.
Ooh. So yeah, do you have any questions, Loner?
No, I'm thinking all good.
Cool.
It's a pretty cool thing you've done. Should be proud.
Yeah, I was honestly like for like half the day yesterday, I was just overwhelmed because like I didn't expect us to actually hit the goal. Like I just wrote in like a random number that seemed like, you know, whatever. We'll just deal with whatever we get and do it accordingly. But yeah, I was just like processing for like half the day. Damn, that's a whole lot of money, and hopefully we can do this properly and make right by everybody that has donated. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, also thank you, Loner, for supporting us with this. And thank you also, Lonerbox community. Everybody that I've talked to on Discord and stuff, you know, has been nothing but supportive. Nothing but like asking like, how can we help you? And everything. So like amazing. Amazing people all around. Love you guys. So yeah.
Yeah, good.
And I think Kalinda will probably go on Dylan's stream probably next week.
Okay. Oh yeah, I heard that, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, any excess basically will go to the soup kitchen volunteer group. And yeah, we'll try our best with everything. Because like there's a lot of discourse that's just like so far removed from politics and anything really productive, that I think doing something like that will maybe remind political communities that like, you know, get back onto the real goal of what we're working towards, of what we want, which is, you know, betterment in society and making sure that people actually have some hope. I mean, I'm calling you out. But yeah, I just want to do this because it's like, you know, my partner's from Estonia, my in-laws still live in Estonia, so when push comes to shove, comes to shove, and Russia invades Estonia, shit will look very fucking bleak. So yeah, this is also like, you know, my personal kind of, fuck you, Russia, you can't break us Yeah. That's about it. I've said that probably like 5 or 6 times now. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
you're
let
all
you
good.
get
Yeah.
back. I'll let you get back to your Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor Chudlogic drama.
Yeah, you have to say the full name, right? We'll see. Got Iran after that. Okay. You have a good day there,
All
right?
right. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Jordan, thanks for the $5. Really appreciate that. Also, the fundraiser is still going, even though they've already gone past their goal. They still have, obviously, use for other things as well. They can make use of the extra money, too, with the kitchens and everything else. So, hang on. Someone in Discord wants it, too. Let me give them a link. But it should be pinned, right? Is it pinned in the chat? Is it? Why can't I tell? Yeah, it is pinned, yeah. That PayPal link, that's the fundraiser. Okay. I'll send it in the Discord as well. Okay. There you go. Right. Emily Mateless.
Names. You look in the files. The FBI took a deposition from Virginia Roberts, as was. She named 40 men. You know, in those articles, it's all been written down. It's all there. If there was a curiosity, an appetite to actually go and pursue potential criminality, investigate criminality, they could.
Well, take it back to the personal brief, if I may. Why do you think you are so gobsmacked by it? Is it because we are not deferential people? Well, ideally journalists. No journalists are deferential people. But we are British. We did grow up in this country where the royal family is the very pinnacle of the population pyramid, whether you like it or not. It is something that history books.
It just hasn't happened before, James.
Exactly.
You know, you go back to Charles I. You know, you go back to a sort of essentially a new era with Charles I, the end of the monarchy, and Oliver Cromwell to find anything sort of remotely similar. Now, I think one of the reasons I'm gobsmacked is because there is something very personal in this as well, and we talk a lot about people's sort of state of mind and health and all the rest of it. And I suppose I do feel, I feel concern actually as I'm watching this story unfold. And I suppose that two things can be simultaneously true, that it can have been a long time coming. It can have been, one of the sort of texts I got this morning from a former colleague just said, finally. We, in one way, a lot of us have been expecting this to unfold. But when it does, there is somebody at the centre of it, and it is a father, and there are children, and there is a mental health question. And I suppose that's what's sort of holding me back a bit and saying this is a pretty serious moment. It's a grave moment. It's not a sort of jumpy up and down moment.
No, of course not. I mean, and for the umpteenth time, but it's
could have fooled me, man. It's a fucking nonce bashing. What the fuck? Even though apparently this might not have anything to do with the noncery. It might be completely separate. But okay.
Important to remind everybody that Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor denies all allegations of wrongdoing, right across the graph or the spectrum of allegations and accusations that he faces. Only one of which is the consequence of today's arrest, the suggestion or the allegation of misconduct in public office. You do. I mean, it's one of those things. I've said it to you before. That there are exceptions to every rule. A journalist is never supposed to become part of the story. But that interview that you conducted was so off the charts that it is. I mean, is it an albatross around your neck for the rest of your career, or is it a different breed of bird?
I think it's actually it's nothing to do with me. I mean, I've said this to you before.
I mean,
well, okay, but I know
exactly what you mean. I'm just intrigued.
I mean, I had the chance to sit down to pass on stuff that we had heard from survivors, from one in particular. And so, just to kind of step back from it all, as well as I do, the journalist's job is to ask the questions on behalf of the people who don't get to ask those questions, right? You do it every single day. We try and convey that in our reporting. And so I suppose I would have to go back to first principles, which is like, what does this moment feel like for the family of Virginia Giuffre, the children of Virginia Giuffre? What does it feel like? And obviously, he has not, we should say, been arrested on sexual abuse charge at all. But I guess it's really curious, actually, going back to that Sky Roberts interview. I asked him if he felt it was kind of weird that all the focus had been on, the fraud or the alleged, the allegations of
white collar crime.
Exactly, rather than sexual abuse, And, his take was it's better to have a trail of something going somewhere than nothing at all. Final question,
drawing on your personal encounter with Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, the indignity, I mean, the sheer shock and horror of being arrested notwithstanding, a man renowned for his pomposity and arrogance, the indignity of being treated like a common or garden suspect, drinking a cup of tea probably out of a polystyrene cup, having his shoelaces removed by the custody officer, that will hit him quite hard, I think.
It's his birthday.
It's also his birthday.
You do wonder, don't you? You wonder if there is, do they still call him, what do they call him? Do they call him Sir? Do they call him Your Royal, they don't call him Your Royal Highness anymore. Do they call him Andrew? Are
Mr. Mountbatten-Windsor. Well, Stephen, the former Deputy Assistant Chief Constable, just called him in the course of our interview 20 minutes ago, just called him Mr. Mountbatten-Windsor as if he was talking about any other suspect. And we shouldn't really be surprised by that, but we always will be.
Yeah. The thing that really struck me was a couple of weeks ago when Keir Starmer did that press conference, and he called former Lord Mandelson, not even Peter Mandelson, he called him Mandelson, which, you know, in journalistic terms, you don't say Mandelson unless somebody has been convicted, right? I mean, that's the sort of that's the sort of the pattern. And I thought it was really striking that was the term that Starmy used, used to kind of distance himself at that particular moment from the man he just, you know, promoted a year earlier.
No, I haven't checked, but I will be very surprised if Emily and her colleagues on the newsagents don't return to some of this territory in today's.
I thought we might do the Gorton and Denton by-election a week out.
A full list of candidates is available at lbc.co.uk. Emily Maitlis, thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, they should why don't they just call him His Royal Nonceness? That would be good. Subscribe, you fucking assholes. I mean, sorry.